Hello, everybody. Jordandespong here for episode 11 of How to Improve My Mile. Pretty cool episode lined up here. Going to kind of be revealing some more training, maybe seeing how we're going, a little bit more into maybe getting ready for some racing, but productive week. It's 12:39 here on Sunday. I've finished my long run, my laundry's going, and football starts in 20 minutes. So this is not going to take more than 20 minutes because I want to go watch some football. What did I write down here? School, exams, they're coming up. Prelim this week. First exam at Cornell. I think I'm going to do well. Preparing pretty good. Rolling along with assignments. It's all going good. Cornell team, worked out with them, ran with them and worked out a little bit this week. They got cleared to practice, so I'm going to be helping out there, kind of time trials, pacing a little bit, but we'll touch on that later. In the running area, and then let's get into it in terms of some for the summer and fall of 2018. So wrong one. Summer 2018. Let me make this so you can see it a little better. It's on I put it on my monitor and I can see it fine, but then you guys can't see it that well. So anyhow, we're here, summer of 2018. As you can tell, we've gone through this. Now this is 2018. I went to school in 2016, so I've done two full years there if you start it, in the fall. And not really the greatest time in terms of, didn't really run that well, but I was doing very well in school. This past semester that we reviewed, again, didn't run that well towards the outdoor season, and it was kind of the low point if I look back at my career in terms of I was a little bit depressed. I wasn't having fun. I thought maybe I could be doing better in New Zealand. But ultimately the degree, getting an education is what keeps me going. Summer of 2018, and we go into the fall of 2018, we recruited George Kush, South African guy. So I kind of got reinvigorated. I was like, maybe this could be, a good time to train, behind someone that's really good. And obviously I would meet a lot of good people, over the next 2 years. So I definitely loved the experiences. This is kind of I feel like if it was like a bell curve, when it went like this, we're right at the bottom right now. I really am not having that much fun. 2018 was an interesting summer in terms of there's not much highlighted here. The running philosophy was kind of hard and easy days. So the harder runs were kind of like lower sixes, and then the easier runs were kind of upper sevens. However, I can tell you by the end of the summer, it kind of all merged together where I was just running aerobically all the time. Because if anybody knows me, I don't like to run 6 minutes on my easy days. But I thought that this was the way in 2018, which I don't think it is now, but I tried it. But I raced during this summer, raced some road races, which is what you'll see here is, we're plugging along, kind of building up the mileage. And then I start throwing in some 400s, some 600s, culminating in kind of a street mile in Lincoln where I ran 420 on the road, and I had 8 90-degree turns. So it's kind of tough, but I got myself in all right shape. It was fun. A little bit of running in Colorado. First ever time I ran 90 miles was this summer, and distance runners can lift. I squatted 350 that week as well. And I'll go on to squat 415. Now, disclaimer to everybody that's like, oh my God, he can't do it. It was with a safety bar, so it's not with a straight bar. So I could probably only squat like 200, not even 200 if I'd have a straight bar. That thing would crush me. Because at 415 at that time, it was like almost 2.9% my body weight. So you think about putting 2.9% on your shoulders on a straight bar that just is like a little line across your shoulders, it's not going to happen. So the safety bar, big, kind of goes all the way over your shoulders, puts the weight across your whole body. But it was fun, good time. I really enjoyed lifting. It kind of made, shook things up. I was in Nebraska all summer, so I was lifting like 4 days a week, kind of going in, and it just made the running a little bit easier. I felt like, get up. There was something to get up for with the weights. But those were my two highlights of the summer. Running, we did good, kind of got the base. Developed a base. I don't really think at this point until like now when I reflect on what I'm doing, like right now, I don't think any of my summers were ever really productive. But, when you're in it and you're doing it and you're kind of listening to the coach, listening to yourself, it's hard to make the right decision. Culminated in 875 miles, for that little period, 55 a week. The full doesn't really increase from the average mileage, but just because of the weeks. But it was typical of me to just leave at the end of summer or semester. So I went out to England and saw some family, for a couple of weeks here, and I came back really late. So I didn't start the full semester till like the end of August, but I guess the team had probably been back for like almost 2 weeks by this point. Opened up at Augie 2204 over 7Ks. It was an interesting race. George took a wrong turn at the finish line and got beat, which is funny. First time race for Nebraska, but that was fun. Good little trip. Nothing really special here. I mean, you guys can look at the workouts and kind of pick out what you guys like, but nothing too crazy. When I really think I started to get into shape was, having a guy like George on your team or someone that you can look at and be like, yeah, that guy's so much faster than me. But in terms of wanting to push yourself and try to attain, some higher goals, it's really easy because he's super fast. So, we start running some really good mile repeats. This 400 session we joke about now for the first time we ever did it, because I think the last 400s, we're doing 60 seconds rest. The last 400s we ran I think he ran like a 357 mile. I ran like a 402 mile. So we went a little bit, probably anaerobic by the end of that. It probably wasn't a fully fledged aerobic workout where you're just kind of clicking away at your VO2 max pace. So at that point, it was probably for him like 64s, for me 66, 67, which is we revisit this workout next fall and we do it a lot better. And so we joke about we went way too hard that day. So I didn't race. I guess when you come back up here in Chicago, I didn't race there. So I was sent as a junior as not in the top 7. I had to go race at Bradley for my spot on the Big Ten team. And Ryan Martins would always tell you a funny story about that one. I just snuck up the outside on the other side of the course so that no one would see me, because all I was focused on doing was out kicking everybody for a spot. So it was again a little bit of a pussy way to race. And it was a little bit of a, confidence knock that I ran really badly at Woody at the start of the year. I threw up halfway through the race. So, I mean, I deserved to be put on that team to go race for my spot. But again, I also felt like it was a little bit of like a kick in the guts that, some sophomores had got on that team that I knew maybe I was better than at that point. But anyhow, I got on the team. 2 weeks of good training. Here's this workout again, the 2x3 mile tempos that I don't like. I guess I did it because I wrote it down here. I don't know what I ran, but it must have gone better because I ran my all-time fastest time in college of 24:58, kind of on the hilly Nebraska course. It was really fun. George led our team to one of the best finishes in the Big Ten, and individually, and just a good time. In fashion of me not being a distance runner, I blew up 2 weeks later for a 10K in 33 minutes, which didn't go well. And we kept going. And again, I just reiterate, like having someone, if you've got someone that's better on your team or, someone that you can get behind, I definitely wouldn't run these workouts as fast as I had and would ultimately, develop whatever, aerobic and anaerobic capacity if I didn't have him. We're running, I think this was with either 2 minutes or 90 seconds rest, 212, 211s, and then 135s down to 133. And he's obviously ahead of me, so he's running way faster. But again, a week later, we run pretty fast again. And so it was a good fall. I thought yeah, great. I'm ready. I've done probably maybe the best training in terms of consistent, cranking out weeks of like high-ish mileage for me at that point. And I thought I was ready to roll in the spring, which would kind of prove half and half, depending on how you define success in the spring. But we'll talk about that later. Anyhow, getting back to what we're doing right now, which I'm much more confident about than when I go back and look at this, and some of it just makes me cringe, just to be like, why did you put your body through that? So we started at Monday, September the 28th, easy 30 minutes with my assignment partner in financial modeling, Kate. She's trying to get into some running. So I jogged with her on the football field on Monday morning. Went out for an easy hour that afternoon. Tuesday, I just took it off, get fresh. Tuesday afternoon's workout was going to be interesting in terms of I just wrote it down as 2 by 5 minutes, 12 times 60 seconds on the hill. And then 2 by 5 minutes, where I worked out is it's like there's 1 mile trail that just goes like kind of uphill. And then you obviously to get back, you come downhill and it's exactly a mile. So I was like, I'll just run that. Uphill was pretty tough. The first rip was like shitty because my legs was like trying to get underneath me, trying to get some blood in them. Coming back, I thought that 455 would feel way easier than it did, but I kind of felt like I was working the same as I was going up the hill. 12 by 60 is first hill workout I've done in a while, and it was all right. I liked it. It was first time I ever worked on a concrete hill though. Every time we did hills in Nebraska, it was always grass or dirt, and then finished with the 2 mile back out onto that bike path. And 5:20, 5 minutes. I was hurting at this point. I was definitely working. My heart rate was up about 170, which is where we like to see it, in that type of workout. So the rest was like 1 minute 50. So I like ran the first mile like 5:15, and then I just took it up to 7 minutes and then ran back, and then took about a 5 minute break in between, ran the 12 by 60 just up, and then jogged back another 5 minutes, and then into the 2 by miles with like about 1 minute. At that point, it would have been 1 minute 40. Easy 30 minutes on Wednesday morning after class. Just went over to the football field. I really like the football field here. It's pretty big. There's like grass all around it. So I like to jog around that a little bit. Went out with the Cornell team, some of the younger guys on that team in the afternoon, kind of on the Wanaka route, just a little bit shorter on it for about 8 on the afternoon there. Transitioned into October. I didn't even realize it was October. So that happened. Thursday, just that easy 75-minute run, just trying to keep up with the aerobic work, especially now as we transition to some workouts where, for me, I'm a big stopper in workouts. Like if I'm doing Ks, I'm going to stop and I'm going to just stand there or walk around in between the rest. Some people would say you should probably jog, but I supplement it by doing all these other runs. So we're still getting the aerobic work in, even though, some of the workouts we're doing VO2 max, type workouts, and eventually, above your aerobic capacity type workouts in 400s and 600s later on when we get a little bit faster. So Friday we went to the easy run in Cass Park, 5.3. And then I worked out actually with the team. I was, usually we're just trying to stick with the tempo running, but they were doing 3 by 2 miles. So I was like, you know what, we'll just find the aerobic zone in there, the aerobic threshold, and we'll just do 3 by 2 miles with 2 minutes rest. And I felt pretty good. I really, just got breathing heavy and just, ran each rep, not straining or anything. So it was nice. It was a big day as well for mileage. Half the Wanaka Loop on Saturday, finishing on the football field. And then I ran with a guy called Perry on the team today. He's from Canada. He's a really good guy. I think we're going to do a lot of work together here in the coming weeks. He ran about 29:40 last month in the 10K, and he's going pretty good. So where we can fit in schedules together, we will. Let me check the time. We're 7 minutes to go. So just enough time for us to go review next week and a little bit more planning. So it's the 4th today, did the long run. Yeah, so racing, Nebraska, probably Friday the 13th. I can already picture Dave, joking about that, being like it's going to be the greatest time trial ever because it's on Friday the 13th. But I'm going to go back there, I think. Alumni can race. It's really the only foreseeable thing where there's some good guys that I can be sure will run fast in front of me. Georgia Martins ran 13:50 something and 14 like in the teens the other day. So I'll go get behind them, whether it's a 3K or 5K. I don't know. I'm going to train long and I'll be ready for whatever it is. So specifically next week, October 5 to October the 11th, it's just going to be the easy runs on Monday. I'm going to do workouts. I'm going to do Ks. I think I'll do 8 of them with 90 seconds rest. We'll do easy on Wednesday, 80 minutes on Thursday, 30 to 40 minutes in the morning, just that 5 mile run that you've seen over the last couple of weeks, just on the flat. Probably some hills. Oh no, yeah, some 200s this Friday, because I think I'm going to be pacing on Saturday morning for the workouts here. Even though I've started back, doing some workouts and stuff, I really don't want to race yet. So I'll just pace probably 1600 of the 1600 of the 3K, and maybe 3K of the 5K. So some good aerobic threshold work, and then I'll probably just go jog a little bit more after that to get a little bit more minutes, and then a long run on Sunday. But here, 5 weeks of kind of just increasing the intensity, the workouts, really specific kind of VO2 max in the miles and the Ks. Eventually, towards the end of this month, we'll get to 400s. And then on the, Fridays, it's kind of just, next week we'll do some hills. The week after, some 600s and then 400s, just to kind of get your legs underneath you, going at a little bit higher of a clip, coming off 3 weeks of kind of longer Ks and miles. And then on that November 1st, we'll put some tempos back in there, make sure that the longer, periods of running are not being neglected. And then after that, I guess the workout, in November, it's one I did back in the summer. I really enjoyed it. So we'll discuss that more as we're getting down. But man, like, I'm flying through this 12:56. It's 16 minutes that you've only had to listen to me. I don't know how to make it better. If you guys want me to talk about anything else, I think, when I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking about how it comes across, and I think it's going to be, hopefully, I think I know I'm going to do it. I'm going to break 4 at some point. And then, at that point, it'll become clearer as to why we were doing the things we were doing at certain points in the week. But for me, it's great. On Sundays, I sit down, I put in all my runs. I think about what I did. I think about what needs to be done in the future. So again, when I first started this, I said it was for an accountability. That was a big piece and a big motivation to do it. So it's definitely working for me. Whether or not you guys find it interesting, I don't know, but, makes me want to do something for, 30, 45 minutes each day. And then the last thing before we go, because we just have a couple more minutes, I have started doing the coding of the runs so that when we go back into, the totals, you can see, I'll create a little pie chart of like, what percentage of the runs are easy, long run, whatever. If anybody has any thoughts, the only thing I'm running into right now is that, like, for example, here where we did, where's one that would be like a good example? So like here, this is a 6 mile easy run in the morning with the team, and then a long run in the afternoon, which comes out to 20.6 miles on the day. So now here you would usually just type like LR for a long run. And then when I do the function over here, it'll be like, if you grab LR, grab 20.6. So other than adding in another column here to then make it easy, and then put a 6, make it easy, don't know how to split it out, because I can't really just grab the long run and say, okay, we went for 20.6 when I know for a fact that this was an easy run. So that is the problem I'm running into right now. And I'm going to think about it. I'm going to try to figure out what's the, quickest way to do this. But I think for the story and for, the evolution of this, it might be worth going back in and looking at it. Especially if I'm able to run well this year, it would probably be good to get a gauge of, each year, what were the percentages of the runs. And as I'm starting to run better, especially like you'll see in this, when we go into the next, the spring and then the fall of 2019, it starts to get more consistent. The performances start to get better. And I think that definitely has something to do with the way that you're running. So being able to see that, I think is going to be very important, especially, going into next semester, because I'm still in school. I'm thinking semesters as to how you plan to get faster. How do you take that work and, go from 404 to 357? Then that's the goal, right? So I'll figure it out. If you have any ideas, though, let me know how to make that go fast. Maybe you could put like a 6 over here, minus it out. And that would be, maybe that's a better way to do it. I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyhow, thank you guys for checking in. We're going to be right on 20 minutes here, and I'm going to go watch some football. I hope everyone's teams are not really like super affected by, the postponements and stuff, but you've got to keep everyone safe, right? So anyhow, I'll check in with you guys next week. Catch you later.